All right, so get this. Our listeners have been sending in a bunch of YouTube videos all about that 2019 Pentagon UFO report.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with a twist. They're all about these hypnotic regression sessions. And they're focused on those Navy videos, the grainy ones.
Right.
The ones where they're, they released the footage of these objects moving like crazy. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So there were 4 different people, all under hypnosis, basically recounting what they saw that day over the Pacific.
That's wild.
Yes, like a real-life X-Files episode,
Totally.
What do you think about this? I mean, are these hypnotic accounts like actual credible evidence, or are they just like looking at people's imaginations just going wild?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Yeah. It's so fascinating to me because we're not just dealing with like blurry photos or, just eyewitness accounts like, I saw something. We're going into the subconscious.
Right.
But hold on, before we get too far into that.
Yeah.
Let's set the stage a little bit. You remember that 2019 Pentagon report?
Oh, absolutely. The Pentagon actually confirming that those videos that the Navy pilots captured,
right,
they showed something they couldn't explain.
Totally.
Unidentified aerial phenomena, right?
No.
Objects moving at insane speeds, defying physics, basically. And CNN even did this whole report on it, and they verified the footage was real. It was huge news. Huge. Yeah, it was crazy.
It's a big deal. Sightings off the Pacific coast, objects appearing at 80,000 feet.
I know.
It was crazy. It really shook things up. And now, years later, we have all these hypnotic regression sessions.
Right.
And they're all focused on those same videos.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle, but the pieces are from different dimensions.
Okay, so let's unpack these sessions a little bit.
Sure.
What kind of common threads are we seeing here? I mean, are these people all describing the same thing?
It's really fascinating because there are these striking similarities, even though the sessions were done totally independently.
Yeah.
Like across the board, these people describe this large, metallic, disc-shaped object.
Okay.
Classic flying saucer.
Okay.
But with a twist.
A twist? Like what?
Well, a lot of them describe these smaller, faster objects that seem to detach and then reattach to the main craft.
Oh, wow.
Almost like a mothership deploying scout ships or something.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the descriptions of the technology are crazy, too.
I bet.
They talk about advanced propulsion systems, manipulating density and light,
right,
allowing for these impossible speeds that we see in those videos.
Yeah, that's what really gets me, is the who or the what behind the wheel.
Right.
What are these people saying about the beings that are piloting these things?
So that's where we see some differences, but even those differences are interesting.
Okay.
So 3 of these sessions, Dora, Yulia, and Xenia, they all point to non-human intelligence consistently.
Okay.
But their descriptions of these beings differ sometimes dramatically.
Okay, details, please. Give us the rundown.
So, for example, Dora describes beings with flat faces, gills and scales.
What?
Yeah. She even mentioned 3-fingered hands and a short, flat tail.
Wow.
It's not your typical little green men imagery.
Definitely not. What about Yulia? What did she see under hypnosis?
Oh, Yulia's account is so fascinating.
Okay.
She sees these gray-skinned humanoids with elongated heads.
Okay.
And those classic large black eyes.
Right.
They seemed really focused on their tasks, almost robotic in their movements.
Interesting.
The most interesting detail, I think, is her description of the craft.
Okay.
Being built using something she called ethereal metal.
Ethereal metal?
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's this material that was both incredibly dense but impossibly thin.
Ethereal metal. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi novel.
It really does.
I'm curious, did these sessions reveal anything about their motivations? Why are they here?
So 2 of the sessions kind of offer some potential insights into that.
Yeah.
Xenia and Yulia both perceive these beings as researchers.
Okay.
They're intensely studying Earth's environment.
Like what specifically?
They're particularly focused on water and densely populated areas.
Interesting.
Xenia even describes seeing smaller objects detaching from the main craft and entering the ocean, maybe to collect samples.
So they're not here to conquer us, more like scientists on a grand expedition.
Yeah, it's almost more unsettling, right?
Yeah.
It's quiet observation.
Right.
But there's another Tamara's session that throws a major wrench into things.
What happened there?
Well, Tamara's session paints a totally different picture.
Okay.
She claims the entire event was staged.
What?
Yeah, like a distraction orchestrated by the U.S. government.
Wait, government hoax? But why? What would be the point of faking something like this?
That's the big question hanging over Tamara's account. You know, she doesn't actually get into the motivations behind this hypothetical deception.
Right.
But it really does make you think, is this information contamination in hypnotic regression?
Information contamination. Can you explain that a bit more for our listeners?
Yeah. So in hypnotic regression, the subject is in this very suggestible state.
Okay.
And their memories and their perceptions, they can be influenced by the hypnotist's questions.
Right.
And also their own pre-existing beliefs. And even external information they've been exposed to.
So it's possible that Tamar's session was influenced by, say, conspiracy theories she'd heard before or news reports or something like that.
That's certainly a possibility. Or it could be a genuine subconscious interpretation of the event. You know, we have to remember that hypnotic regression isn't foolproof. It's not like a magic bullet to uncover objective truth.
Yeah.
It's more like a window into an individual's subjective experience.
Okay.
Which can be incredibly complex.
I can imagine.
But even with that caveat, these sessions raise some really compelling questions about the nature of these sightings, about the potential for non-human intelligence, and even just about the human mind's ability to grasp something so far outside our everyday reality. It makes you wonder, you know, like, why release this information now after all these years?
It's almost like they're saying, hey, this weird stuff is out there, deal with it.
Right, yeah.
But why? What's the motivation?
Well, some of the hypnotic regression sessions actually offer some possible answers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some subjects suggest it's like a form of preparation, you know, slowly acclimating the public to the idea of extraterrestrial life.
Like a slow drip disclosure. Yeah. Getting us ready for the day when we actually, like, shake hands or tentacles with an alien.
Precisely. Get us used to the idea before the mothership lands on the White House lawn.
Right.
But others see it as a way to, like, control public perception.
Okay.
Maybe even manipulate belief systems.
It's a little unsettling. Are they saying this whole UFO thing is a distraction? Like a deliberate distraction?
One session, Zenya's session, even hints at a connection between these sightings and the rollout of 5G technology.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What's the connection there?
So they're suggesting that the network, 5G, it acts as like a conduit for information, influencing people's subconscious minds.
Okay, I mean, that's getting into some serious conspiracy theory territory. 5G is just a faster internet connection.
Well, yeah, on the surface.
Okay.
But Xenia describes it as like this energetic background.
Energetic background.
Being transmitted through the network.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's almost like a subliminal messaging system or something. Okay. It's definitely a thought-provoking idea, even if it sounds a little far-fetched.
Okay, yeah.
But let's put aside the why for a second.
Okay.
And think about the impact that this is having on people. I mean, we're talking about like these really fundamental questions. Yeah.
About our place in the universe.
Right.
The potential for alien life. The nature of reality itself.
It's heavy stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And several of the sessions actually talk about like the psychological effects of this kind of revelation.
And like what kind of effects are we talking about?
Well, confirmation bias, for example.
Oh, yeah.
That plays a big role.
Right. So for our listeners, just as a reminder, confirmation bias is our tendency to basically seek out information that confirms what we already believe.
Yes.
And then we ignore the evidence that contradicts it.
Exactly.
So someone who already believes aliens are visiting Earth, they'll see these videos and be like, see, I told you so.
Exactly. And then someone who is super skeptical will probably just dismiss it all.
Yeah.
As like an elaborate hoax or misinterpretations or whatever.
Right.
But then there's also the fear factor.
Right.
The unknown can be really scary for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
And for some, the idea of these advanced extraterrestrial beings.
Especially ones that don't fit that typical friendly alien trope.
Right.
Could trigger some real anxiety.
Yeah, you know, I can see that. I mean, Dora's description of beings with gills and scales.
Yeah.
That doesn't exactly scream, take me to your leader.
Right.
More like, run for the hills.
Right. It really taps into our primal fear of the unknown, the other.
Totally.
But, you know, there's also like the flip side of that.
Yeah.
This renewed fascination with the unknown.
Right.
It reignites our curiosity about what's out there.
Right.
You know, beyond our planet, beyond our current understanding.
It's like this shot of adrenaline straight to our collective imagination.
Exactly.
All those sci-fi stories and like ancient astronaut theories, government cover-ups.
Yeah.
It all seems a little more plausible now.
Right. And that's what makes these hypnotic regression sessions so compelling. They tap into our deepest fears.
Yeah.
Our wildest hopes.
Right.
And our desire to understand the universe and our place in it.
And our place in it, yeah.
They force us to ask these big questions.
Yeah.
Are we alone? What else is out there? And what does it all mean for humanity?
Wow. Okay, so we've gone pretty deep into these hypnotic regression sessions, right?
Yeah, we have.
We've explored the sightings, the beings, the possible motives for it all.
Right.
It's been quite a ride.
It has.
But what does it all mean for, like, the average person?
Right.
Are we supposed to just, like, accept these accounts as truth?
Well, I think that's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
These sessions offer, like, these fascinating glimpses into the subconscious, but they're not like a direct line to objective truth.
Right.
We have to remember that hypnotic regression is a subjective experience.
Right.
And it's influenced by individual beliefs, perceptions, and even the hypnotists themselves.
So how do we sift through all these accounts?
Yeah.
Like, how do we separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak?
It's like being a detective, you know?
Okay.
We have to look for corroborating evidence. Consider alternative explanations.
Right.
Be willing to question everything, even our own assumptions.
So, like, for example, with these sessions, does the physical evidence support these claims?
Right. Or are there other more mundane explanations for what these people experienced?
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in, like, the sensationalism of it all.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the idea of aliens visiting Earth.
It's exciting.
But we have to be grounded in, like, evidence and logic.
Absolutely.
And, you know, even if we accept the possibility that there's, like, non-human intelligence behind these sightings, there's still so many unanswered questions.
So many questions.
Like, what are their motives? What is their level of technology?
Right.
Are they a threat, or are they just watching us?
Exactly.
I think that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating and so unsettling.
For sure.
It just opens up this Pandora's box of questions that we may never have definitive answers to.
Right.
And maybe that's okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, sometimes the journey of exploration is more important than, like, the destination.
I agree.
These hypnotic regression sessions, whether we take them as, like, evidence of alien contact or as products of our own imagination, they force us to expand our thinking, to confront the unknown,
absolutely,
to grapple with these mysteries of the universe.
That's a good thing.
So what's the takeaway for our listener who's been with us on this deep dive? What should they do with all this information?
I think the key takeaway is don't be afraid to question, to explore, and to keep an open mind.
Right.
These sessions offer a glimpse into all these possibilities out there.
Yeah.
But they also remind us of, like, the limits of our own understanding.
Right.
It's up to each of us to decide what we believe, to weigh the evidence and draw our own conclusions.
So we've given you the tools, the information.
Right.
But the ultimate decision rests with you, the listener.
Yeah.
Do you believe these accounts? Do you think we're alone in the universe?
Those are the big questions. The answers are out there waiting to be discovered.
I hope so.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll have those definitive answers.
Yeah.
But until then, the mystery remains.
Right.
And that's what keeps us looking up at the stars, wondering what else might be out there.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that even in, like, this age of information overload,
I know, right?
There's still these profound mysteries out there that challenge how we understand the world and our place in it.
Sure.
This deep dive has been a journey into the unknown.
It has.
And we hope it sparked your curiosity.
Yeah.
And inspired you to keep exploring the vast and ever-expanding frontiers of knowledge.
Keep searching.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time, keep looking up.